Here's a quick overview of the Phantom 3 and Phantom 4 from DJI, two very popular consumer-grade drones. The Phantom 3 is less secure. The pilot connects to using their mobile device to Wi-Fi that's being broadcast by the controller. It contains three separate computers, the controller, drone, and camera, all of which are accessible. And the Phantom 4 is far more secure, requiring a physical connection via a USB cable and a mobile device. The Phantom 4 has also recently been discontinued, which is important to note. The vulnerabilities that we explored require no physical contact with the drone, which is much more applicable in a real-world SOF application than one that requires physical access. The Phantom 3 has a WPA broadcasted encrypted Wi-Fi access point with a default password of 12341234. It also has an open FTP port with a default password of big~9 China, which gives root access to the file system. It also has a GPS receiver module. The Phantom 4 also has a GPS receiver module, so both the 3 and 4 are susceptible to GPS hacking, jamming, and spoofing attacks. This is the program we created called ddrone. Ddrone is a GUI that allows us to execute various programs that we've written. They can be executed on pretty much any computer, and this is how we will carry out our attacks. Ddrone is a Python-based graphical user interface designed to be used in a wide variety of devices to easily execute programs to exploit the Phantom's vulnerabilities. It's a collection of programs that exploit FTP, Wi-Fi, and GPS. It can be run on a Raspberry Pi, mounted to the hack stack, and attached to an attack drone. I'll talk about the hack stack in a minute. The hack stack is essentially an array of hardware that is used to execute our attacks and can be attached to an attack drone. Why an attack drone? Well, we can maximize Wi-Fi line of sight, perform attacks silently and remotely. We'll have a live demo towards the end of the presentation. Here's a little bit about the hack stack hardware. It's comprised of a 3D printed enclosure, Raspberry Pi 3 Model B, although other Raspberry Pis would work as well, a hack RF1, an alpha long-range wireless USB adapter, a lithium iron phosphate battery, and a wiring loom. The Phantom 3 has open FTP port with default password of big~9 China. Ddrone provides programs for silently gathering intel from the drone and controller, where we can gather information such as MAC address, flight records, wireless network settings, things that can help us to find the original pilot. It can also clear the DCIM of images. We can also write a recovery image to the DCIM so that if a civilian finds the drone, they're offered a reward for returning it so that it can be examined for physical evidence such as fingerprints. And we can also soft reboot the drone by writing to a specific file. This allows us to make file system changes while the drone is in the air, perform a soft reboot which will not crash the drone, and be able to apply any changes that need to be done on system boot. We can also use the soft reboot for performing a few other exploits while the drone is mid-flight, such as opening the telnet port, changing settings such as the Wi-Fi password, or wiping the file system.
I'm going to demonstrate a couple programs we have written to exploit that. The first one here being the gather intel. This will pull relevant information including serial number, flight logs from the controller and the drone, and store it on our local device. You can see that here. Next thing that we can do is clear the default media storage device and remove any videos or images that have been recorded or taken there. And finally, we can plant a recovery image on the drone. This is significant in the event that the drone goes down and is found by a civilian. It can be reported to the authorities and they can search for fingerprints or any other relevant information like the serial number.
The Wi-Fi access point exploit. P3 controller is a WPA encrypted Wi-Fi access point with a default password of 12341234. Ddrone provides programs for cracking the PSK of access points using the technique outlined at this link, for continuously de-authenticating connected clients, which allows for a takeover of the connection to P3 and access to return to home follow me mode, etc. It also allows for MAC address exceptions for the attack device. We'll show a live demo of that later.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the crack PSK functionality of the ddrone program that we wrote. A couple things to note here. The Phantom 3's controller is a Wi-Fi access point that uses WPA encryption to secure itself. And it has a default password. So this is sort of in situations where somebody decided to change the default password, we still have a way to access the controller's Wi-Fi. So first thing I'm going to do is open up the ddrone program and select my device. I'm going to scan for any phantoms in the area, and then all I got to do is click the crack PSK button and click attack. You'll see over in the lower corner of the screen, my phone is now being de-authenticated, and we just captured a handshake up here, which we can now use to crack the password. This is kind of a standard way of encrypting or of cracking WPA encryption, and we used AirCrack Suite in order to do this, which is, there's already a nice write-up on how to achieve. So we're going to link that here so you guys can look in the details on how this is implemented in ddrone. And you can see up here we have the Phantom's key, and now we can log on to the Wi-Fi.
Now here's another ddrone program that's key to exploiting GPS on both the Phantom 3 and Phantom 4. Both the Phantom 3 and 4 have GPS modules that are vulnerable to GPS attacks. So on the hack stack, using HackRF1 and GPS SDR SIM, which is open source, we're able to jam GPS, which completely destroys P-mode flight and degrades manual flight, in that in manual flight the horizontal positioning can no longer be maintained, resulting in drift and non-controllability. Using the HackRF1 and GPS SDR SIM, we're also able to spoof GPS, allowing for complete control of the drone operating in P mode. Now this requires more stable of an external clock signal than we could generate for the HackRF. We were able to generate one, but we don't have the hardware needed to generate that clock signal to get the spoofing very accurate. However, that software has been written by us and it's in our GitHub repo. Now, spoofing objectives are to send the drone to a desired secure location, say an Air Force base somewhere remote, or to force landing by setting the spoof point inside of a no-fly zone. Now, our attack drone can run using GLONASS, which will avoid the effects of spoofing and jamming. We can't demonstrate this in a video for legal reasons, but the functionality is implemented in ddrone, so you'd be sure to check it out. We do have a number of other programs documented on our GitHub repo that we didn't have time to code. However, some of them are very notable, and we do have a lot of research and information stored in there, so I think they're worth taking a look at. But we're not going to cover those in the video for the sake of time.
I'm going to demonstrate the takeover program. This assumes that we already have obtained the PSK from the Pi using the AirCrack tool that we have on the GUI. I'm going to use this Wi-Fi pineapple as an access point to communicate with the Pi that's attached to our attack drone. And at that point, we'll send a DOS signal from the Pi to all devices connected to the Phantom's access point on the controller. Well, I just triggered the DOS attack, and in a couple seconds it should be booting the pilot drone's phone device from the controller, allowing me to connect with my attack device.
There it goes. I have no video anymore, and completely disconnected me, so I still have manual mode, but Jeremy's now able to connect using his app now that he's done that.
If you can try and maybe focus on that.
And even though I have manual flight mode, if this were far away, I wouldn't have the line of sight that I need to actually be able to fly this. And also now he can go into settings. He can change the stick mode, which would actually update while I'm flying. He can change any of the settings to make it very, very sensitive. You can pretty much change everything to the point where this thing will crash. If I have it set in F mode, which is all the way down on the controller, he would also be able to trigger follow me mode, which would follow his device, his GPS. He can set a waypoint somewhere and you'll actually go there and land. And he can also, right now, select return to home.
Yeah, why don't you like put the controller on the ground?
Kyle, why don't you move your your drone away because return to home is over here where you are.
Yeah, we can land this
Yeah,
thing now.
get that guy off to the side because return to home is about right where you are, Kyle. I'm gonna let you go right there. Perfect. All right, so now Jeremy's gonna trigger return to home on his device. And again, I can try to override it manually.
I'd say just put that on the ground just to really
Okay.
force it. Operate.
Yep. So now it's flying towards back where home was. It goes up to its safe return to home altitude, which is also set through the app. And it's going to locate the original return to home.
Maybe right where we're standing.
It might be right where we're standing. It might be where your mobile device is.
So we want to just go ahead and see where the move comes down.
The wind is also showing off. And they cause the threat.
There we go.
Yeah, it's making corrections because of the wind. It's actually pretty bad right now. But controller's on the ground, it is returning to home.
To cover how some of our programs in ddrone have been able to degrade, disrupt, and deny the Phantom 3 and Phantom 4. The takeover program, which is comprised of cracking PSK, continuously de-authenticating the user, or the original pilot, so that they have no video and so that we can actually take over using another device, performing a soft reboot so that code can be changed and thus applied while the drone is in the air. Remapping the controller, which completely destroys manual flight mode by reversing stick layout, etc. through settings in the DJI Go app after the takeover has been performed. Forcing a return to home if the pilot is in programmatic mode or advanced programmatic mode. If the pilot is in advanced programmatic mode, which is F mode, we can also force follow me, set a waypoint to send the drone off to a desired location, or one of the other F mode programs. Now, this takeover program and its sub-programs are able to degrade, disrupt, and deny the Phantom 3. GPS jamming and spoofing are able to affect both the Phantom 3 and the Phantom 4 in all degrade, disrupt, and deny. Now, we add another D here, which is data. We have some programs that we've created that are meant more for gathering information. That can ultimately be used to identify the pilot, the source of the drone, to prevent further attacks. And again, all of these can be run wirelessly, no physical access to the drone is needed. However, we can gather intel to ultimately get information about the pilot, to be able to find that person, clearing the DCIM of images, again, the reward recovery program, and having full FTP access to make changes to the file system. Those don't really degrade, disrupt, or deny, but they're more for intel and data gathering. So I thought that they were worth creating and definitely worth mentioning here in the video. We can provide a better demonstration of those later. We just didn't have time. And they're all documented very well in our GitHub repo, if you'd like to take a look there. There are a few notable links. Our GitHub repo, which is github.com/howcho/dronewars. We also have a couple of links to some of the resources that we used for cracking WPA and GPS SDR SIM for the GPS vulnerabilities. The end.